Let's talk about stupid digital marketing mistakes that many of us make, including me. Sorry, but sometimes you just got to tell on yourself. There are digital marketing mistakes that we make all the time, even when you're a pro. So I want to remind you of several of those, because if I can keep you from making just one of these, you'll be happier. Okay, so here's the first one. You probably, I hope, if you don't, you should have a backup program automatically running on your website. So every day it goes and grabs the database, makes a backup copy of it, and sends it to someplace else, like your Google Drive, or it automatically emails it to you or something like that. And then once a week, it sends a copy of everything, all your pictures, all your plugins, everything. And I like to keep 10 copies of the database and 5 copies of everything off someplace else. Okay, there's a bunch of programs. Backup Buddy is a really good one for that. I'll put a link to that in the comments. Okay, so your backup program that you have running on your website, make sure it's on. Okay, because one of the things that happens is every once in a while we'll have a problem and we'll start turning off everything to see if we can figure out what the problem is, and we forget to turn it on. And I tell you, if your backup program is not running, it's doing you absolutely no good. And then make sure it's actually properly exporting to your other site, and that you go check that that file actually arrived at that other site. I've made this mistake several times. That's the reason why this is first. Please don't do it, because when you get hacked, you will want to have that backup copy. All right, next thing. As you set up like a shopping cart, even if it's just to pay for a course or something like that, there is the ability in most of them to turn on a test mode. Okay, a test mode allows you to be able to put in 444, 4444, 4444, all the fours, put in any expiration date, and it will do a test to see if it actually worked without having to charge yourself $2,000. Make sure that after you get done with your test, that you turn the test mode off. I will tell you, I'm embarrassing myself with these things because I've made all these mistakes. I one time went through 3 $1,997 sales to actual human beings with it turned off. In other words, they never got charged. Imagine having to go back to people and say, I made a mistake. Can you put your credit card number in again and charge you $2,000? Okay, next one. A lot of us will say, if you need help, send a message to help@yoursite.com or whatever it is. Make sure that the help email or any email that you put on your website actually works. I one time went 3 months with a help email that went nowhere. I don't recommend it. Okay, this one's not purely digital marketing, but a lot of us in a little while are going to be getting on planes and flying to other places. If you have a known flyer number or a global entry, which are great, strongly recommend, like $100. That means you get to be in TSA Pre if you're in the United States for like 5 years and skip those long lines that this weekend went up to 6 hours long in certain airports. Make sure that that known flyer number is on each of the airline sites that you fly, so that it automatically goes in, so that you are automatically TSA Pre on every flight that you go on, so you can skip those long lines. I prefer you to do it then rather than have to stand in line for 3 to 6 hours. All right, next, every time you send out an email, make sure you do a test mailing. Now you say, oh, I know what I'm doing. I've done this dozens of times, hundreds of times, thousands of times. I don't need to do it. Do it anyway. Send a test mailing to yourself and click on all the links to make sure that they actually work. We've all done this. We've all gotten the pride thing. Oh, it's obviously working. I know what I'm doing. And we've all made that mistake. HBO Max just made it, but it was an intern. They could blame it on the intern. Okay, next one, domain names. I lost a domain name that was doing me about $40,000 in business every year because I didn't have it set on auto renew. I don't care what you do, go to wherever you bought your domain name and set it on auto renew. And better yet, buy it for 5 years and then set it on auto renew. Actually, no, that's not a good idea. Don't buy it for 5 years, because here's what happens. If you set it for 5 years, your credit card is going to expire in that time. You set it on auto renew, you forget about it, and they try to charge a card that doesn't exist. That's literally how I lost that domain. I bought 3 or 5 years of that domain and then forgotten about it. And when they tried to renew, they were renewing with a credit card that didn't exist anymore. And so I lost that $40,000 a year domain. And somebody's got a great site on that domain now, and they're making all the money that I used to be making. Okay, so there you have it, like 6 different stupid marketing mistakes that, well, I was going to say that all of us make, but probably not you. You're smarter than I am, so you've probably never made that mistake. May I suggest you go through each one of these, may want to watch this twice, write these down, and go and double check that everything is working right so that you don't make the stupid marketing mistakes that I've made. I'll let my mistakes be your training. All right. What mistakes have you made? What should we have talked about in this video? What mistakes have you made? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff. Like what you just saw and want more? Subscribe now, ring the bell for notifications, and watch these other videos.